Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful. When the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. It is the 14th. I need to lift this up a little bit, get it closer. And hey, we got PPI and jobless claims. Yesterday, that CPI was pretty hot. It was really, you go back and look at that number, it was hotter than the headline number suggests. But then Treasuries moved up anyways, which is pretty funny. Although I think that strong 30-year auction probably a really big factor there, in addition to the S&P 500 just absolutely puking. But today I think we got a different situation. So let's come over here. We pull up the charts here, and the S&P 500 is looking really, really good overnight. So I mean, there was like a big sell yesterday in the morning when we were trading, but in the end they ended up higher. And now today they got a pretty good move up. You know, we're getting into earnings seasons. A lot of the banks report today. So I think this is a really positive development, to be honest. And the Treasury here, you can see that like on the CPI, yeah, rates increased, but then afterwards, whoosh, and the auction was like around here. Yeah, right here. This is the auction. So you can see it's a little concerning to me. The way that this curve is flattened, okay? So basically what I think it's saying here is that, yes, short-term interest rates are going to rise, but long-term interest rates aren't rising, which kind of suggests stagflation to me, okay? Oil, it's up there, man. Putin saying, hey, $100 barrel oil, totally possible. Just note that we are like getting up into like people's year-end targets and everything in oil. So I don't know how much more upside there is left, but it does look like they got another run in them at some point, but maybe not just right now. Here is natural gas having a little bit of a rise yesterday. Now, yesterday, I think the real winner yesterday was definitely gold and silver, right? Gold pushing its moving averages, longer term moving averages. Silver making a big, finally getting into some of these prices in the above 23.5, maybe, where there was like the huge disaster, right? Copper doing really good today. Ooh, that looks really nice. Oh, here we got our news coming out. Yeah, I'm so slow, guys. So they're pulling. What are we getting here? Oh, I didn't turn this on. The PPI sounds like the year-over-year numbers are less than expected. Oh, yes, much lower. Okay, so all of these numbers sound good. Initial jobless claims 293,000 versus 319 expected, and then the PPIs were like, oh, here now I got them. I can really read them. Core PPI was spot 2 versus an expected spot 5. I'm quite surprised. That is way less than you would have expected. And yeah, of course, PPI month over month spot 5 versus spot 6. But we know that oil is a lot of that, right? So spot 2 versus spot 5. Interesting. You know, yes, when I was coming up this morning, I was like, ah, man, like there's inflation and it's a problem. But then I looked at that and I'm like, well, actually, it's not so bad. we will live. We will live is what I'm thinking now. Like, I think, well, I'm not so sure that now is a good spot per se. But I think that we want to go short on these today. Yes. Overnight high 131.16. Okay. So they pushed the highs, they came back very quickly. So there's still like a little bit of liquidity vacuum here. Okay. I don't know. So I'm thinking about because we got a bunch of different pieces of news there. I think that the PPI undershooting is probably more important. The initial jobless claims is good. I mean, I think that that's good for the economy. I think all of this news should be good for the S&P 500, except for that the S&P 500 is already like really up today, right? So they maybe already baked that in. Ooh, Scott Adams asked a good question. What exactly is going on with the trucker shortage, and why did the forces of supply and demand stop working for only truckers pay and not for the goods they transport? Okay, so I don't know about that one. Oh wow, I tried to respond to Scott Adams, and by the time I did it, there was 12 other comments already. Okay, so just noting that there's a decent amount of orders hitting here, like 11.5. That 30-year just looks sad. It's okay, 30-year. Cheer up. It'll be okay. Look, the PPI number, it was good. Still waiting on your to get your money transferred over, man? Well, man, it sounds like if you're foreign, that Ninja Trader brokerage just not so well set up still. Oh wow, five people like my reply. Cool. Well, that 30-year wants to drag it. I suppose we should come and then look at this number. The PPI report is a little bit harder to read. Producer price index for final demand increased about 5% in September. You seasonally adjusted the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today, and final demand prices moved up about 7%. Blah, 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 blah. Nearly 80% of the September increase for final demand can be traced to a 1.3% rise in prices for final demand goods. The index for final demand services moved up to about 2%. Prices for final demand, last foods, energy, and trade services moved up spot 1% in September after increasing spot 3% for 12 months. Ended in September, the index for final demand, last foods, energy, and trade services rose by spot 9%. Leading the advance in the index for final demand goods, prices for gasoline rose 3.9%. The indexes for beef and veal, resident electric power, fresh and dry vegetables, gas, fuels, and primary basic organic chemicals also moved higher. In contrast, prices for plastic resins and materials decreased 3.9%. The indexes for corn and for residual fuels also fell. Well, the 30-year has maybe finally decided to back off a little bit. Over 2/3 of the September increase in prices for final demand services can be traced to margins for fuels and lubricants retailing, which rose 11.6%. The indexes for machinery and equipment wholesaling, hospital, inpatient care, automobiles, and automobile parts, or airline passenger services fell 16.9%. The indexes for health, beauty, and optical goods retailing, and for bundled wired telecommunications access services also declined. Brain fart there. Good grief. It's a supply chain issue. I mean, this really, so I gotta tell you, as I'm reading this excellent article on Bloomberg, if it wasn't a subscription service, I would read it out to you. But this guy was basically talking about, like, why are we having the supply chain issues now, and you know, why isn't it resolving itself? And when he really started to go into it, it really made sense. And so the first thing that I thought was interesting that he said was that basically what happened was that when people stopped going out, they took all of that money that they had been spending on eating out and so forth, and they just like went and bought stuff on Amazon with it. So there's just like there's like 20% more stuff trying to come in now anyways. And our supply chains simply aren't built to handle that, which kind of is like, oh yeah, maybe if you pump stimulus into the economy, that can lead to inflation. I don't know. That's what it sounds like to me. But then it was like, so what happens? It's like a DOS attack, and when one spot gets backed up, it just creates more problems down and down the line. So, like, to the tweet that we were replying there with Scott Adams, these trucks, the way that it works is you go to the port, you get loaded up, and then you take your load somewhere. Well, the port is so backed up that these trucks literally have to sit in line all day. And if you have to sit in line all day, you can't make as many trips. You can't make as many trips. You don't have as much free time because you're waiting in line all day, right? So then truckers quit, right? And now you have like an even bigger problem. So and it just kind of goes down the chain. So there was a little stack at 12.5, but then they pulled it. The 5-year is at its highs, and the 30-year is at its lows. It's not often that you see that extreme of a divergence. The yield really wants to steepen here. Not sure I can explain why we would be steepening so aggressively right now. At the moment, I think that the 30-year is just going to have to come up eventually, but let's just see what happens. Well, that was a good uptick in the 10-year. The 30 years still lagging behind though, man. like I would have thought that 22 would have been no problemo, but Bloomberg's still tweeting that story they wrote about trying to find what backs Tether. It's a good tick. I'm seeing a lot of where like there's a pretty good take, but then it doesn't hold. See, that was a really strong take too. It was a really, really strong take at 14. McDonald's to test McPlant Burger created with Beyond Meat in 8 U.S. restaurants next month. Oh boy. Okay, well, there was a new high. if the 30-year decides to come along, we could probably get way more than that, right? And there was a decent amount of selling volume before that, so there might even be some people to puke up here. I think we need another 2 ticks or so in the 5-year to trigger crazy things, though. The street tweets SoFi, Tesla, and GameStop take the top spots on Wall Street bets this morning. Oh, surprise, surprise. The same stocks that are always talked about the most are still talked about the most. Well, that's a decent amount of volume trading back and forth there between 14 and 14.5 now. $5K now at 14. Driving prices up was by Biden's design. The higher cost of fossil fuels, the less use they get, and that suits Biden and his global warming goals just fine until it wasn't. AP reports heating costs to soar as Biden begs fossil fuel companies for a rescue. That was Ed Morrissey of Hot Air tweeting that. How we doing over there, Dave? Saw got good numbers this morning, but you guys are fairly quiet. I hope that you're all in good trades. I hope that means you're all in good trades. What do you think? Do you think that they're going to clear this 14? Usually well, I guess there's big icebergs on both sides here. Oh, look, they cleared the 14.5. Maybe a few more serious orders into 15. Well, that bid would have to thicken up a little bit. I think 30 years still reluctant to move. So I'm not quite sure why the curve is steepening so dramatically. It seems to me like there's just not that much volume going through in the 30-year. Well, we changed about 5,000 contracts in the 5-year. Well, actually, it was from let's call it 2,000 to 8,000, so 6,000 contracts. Whereas in ZB we did. And from 11 to 9, we did about 2,000. I suppose that's in line with, the size of the instruments and everything. I don't know. Okay. Fairly large stack there, 14.5. Reflected tone had a long in the equity indexes. The equity indexes are going to be interesting today, aren't they? I mean, it's a really good overnight move. That chart looks more positive than it has in like 4 weeks. Well, there was a little bit of shuffling of orders and games and so forth, and now things kind of seem a little bit quieter in the 10-year. Well, you know what? I'm not really seeing this scenario that I wanted here. So I think I'm going to bail on this trade. I might regret that. They might just like turn gangbusters high, but I don't know. I'm not seeing like the continuation of like the news moves that I thought I would. I do still see some potential up pressure, but the market orders actually continues to be short. And the 30-year in particular, I mean, look at that. The 30-year is already going back down towards its lows of the day. And I was only able to get 3 favorable ticks, which was like mostly pulls. Yeah. I think it was appropriate to just kind of back off a little bit here. Especially since we were up at the highs and they weren't really giving me anything on it. Oh, there you go. The Port of Los Angeles will double its hours of operation to ease supply chain bottlenecks. Yeah, thanks. Why didn't you do that a month ago? The heck is wrong with these people? Discover Trading Group saying apparently all this inflation isn't anything to worry about, though, even if it turns out it's not transitory. Oh, yeah. So I was saying, that Bloomberg article, the thing that I got out of that Bloomberg article was that the supply chain issues aren't going away anytime soon. This is a sort of a thing that could take years to resolve. And in the meantime, it is the correct thing for the Federal Reserve to slow things down a little bit. Wow, my tweets got 41 likes. 41 likes and not a single follow. Why you gotta be like this, Twitter? Well, the Treasury is not completely backing off here. There are some good bids there at like 13.5 and so forth. It's just that 30-year continues to be down towards the lows. So I'm not quite sure what to do here. Yeah, Jason Furman. Most of the economic problems we're facing, inflation, supply chains, etc., are high class problems. We wouldn't have had them if the unemployment rate was still 10%. We would instead have had a much worse problem. But I feel, am I wrong? I feel that this is because we did the stimulus wrong. We only did demand side stimulus, and we didn't use the opportunity to improve our infrastructure or anything like that. And so you're basically, the problem with it is you spent all of this stimulus, and now you're not really going to get the payoff because the supply chain issues constrain the growth. Yeah. Maybe those supply side economists weren't complete idiots. Just maybe a thought. Well, they were hitting there into 13, where there was a big order at one point. Biden is to highlight the path out of the COVID pandemic today. Okay. Isn't he already? Is that like the fourth time that he's done this? Oh, guys. Well, if it's tough in the Treasury, don't look at the S&P 500 because the S&P 500 is just like going nowhere right now. Your lungs are sputtering, says Dave Velke. Yeah. I don't know if well, it'd be interesting to see here what Ace decides to do. If he comes in and he just feels like he's okay with the bias that the direction is giving, or if he waits. I mean, he's very rare that he waits. Bank of England are raising rates and warning of increasing defaults on mortgages and business loans. Guide us, Ace. Well, he takes a trade. I don't think I want to take a trade in the S&P 500. But that I guess that's why I find it interesting, is because right now it looks like there's probably not a very good time to take a trade, but I think that he probably would. So we'll see. He takes it and he still makes it. I mean, I bet there's a pretty good chance if he takes it that he'll get his targets, right? But if he took that and that turned into a runner, that would be like pretty amazing, I think. So must say those bids at 13 and 12.5 look pretty solid. I mean, they did hit into 13 and it kind of pulled, but it's still there. It's still there. And the bid at 13.5 is just, how do you get the 30-year to come out? Nobody wants to buy it. I mean, I guess there's probably still a good chance that the treasuries do move up and make new highs. It's just not playing out the way that I hoped. I thought that we would have had a stop run already by now. The economy can be shut down in 15 minutes by the Teamsters. I don't see why they would do that or why you're saying that. So there's a tick up again, right? So we would be like 2 ticks in the money. Fed's bullard, not a strong case that inflation will definitely dissipate over the next 6 months. That is a really weird way of phrasing it. Yeah, he says, basically he's saying that if the inflation is transitory, it will continue to be transitory over the next 6 months. I think it'd be even longer than that. I think next year we'll be talking about the quote unquote transitory inflation. At what point do you say it's not transitory anymore? I don't know. Or maybe the term is just wrong, right? Because these are effects that should be short term, but then isn't like everything that causes inflation supposed to be short term? I don't know, man. I don't know. Supply chain is getting worse due to truckers quitting, yes, but I think that the primary reason that truckers are quitting is because they can't make as much money because they're basically waiting in line all day. That's the thing that which I've been told. Are you long the treasury or are you just talking about the ES? Lawmakers and security experts call for beefing up cybersecurity. I agree. I have a friend that is in that area, and he says the same thing. They don't take it seriously enough. Well, a little nibble into 14.5, but the reason I got out was because I really thought they would get up to those highs and they would start to accelerate. Now, maybe they eventually pull away from it for sure, but it just was not the scenario that I thought. I thought you were going to see stops into the highs. Inflation is like Jabba the Hutt. You will learn to appreciate me in time. Oh, boy. You got, Fed's bullard is talking, you got these other things that could also be a factor behind why the market is behaving the way that it is. So they're not really, I'm not really seeing like a strong meta order. It seems like they're not going to let it fall below 13. That maybe that's correlation based. American Airlines had 938 flights canceled or delayed yesterday. So far today, they have had 122. Where's Win? I don't know. She's not here every day these days, but it's that time of year, you know. She busy. She got stuff to do. Too many people miss moves. Letting it fall would just give them a way to buy back in. It has to overshoot and let people buy a top before we'll retrace. I don't know if that's a kind of a situation that I can really predict. What am I seeing right now? I see a market that is significantly calmed down. I see some signs of them speculators trying to move a certain way, but it really didn't come to anything extreme. And I don't see any signs of large meta orders from institutions at the moment. And I believe, and I'm just trying to say, you know, because Fed's Bullard is talking and we got Bank of America's Moynihan is doing their call. Eyes are going to be on earnings and stuff like that. I just don't think that the big traders are making moves here in the treasuries at the moment. And so that's why, that's the excuse I'm making for not being short the rate here. Vince Bullard says high level of core PCE inflation is concerning. Well, they were able to bid 14. They got at least one tick more off of that one. It's one spot, 541. But here again, you would think that that would be like a green light to just like, you know, get out of here, but it's not. They're holding bids underneath of it, but I don't know. It's something you gotta be really careful about these sorts of things because something that I've seen in the past is where they'll hold those orders like that and they'll be up here for a really long time. And then eventually those will disappear and we come crashing down. And it's like they were just using that to get filled, essentially. Now, was that spoofing? I kind of feel like it is, but I don't know. I've seen this many, many, many times in the treasuries. Not recently, but the last time I saw something like that, that's what happened. The market here tweets, gold, everybody hates you. I don't hate you, gold. I don't love you, but I don't hate you. I mean, it just looks like it could go. Okay. I mean, that's kind of disappointing. It kind of seems like eventually they'll do it, but it's just not exciting me. I don't know what to say. I must be a real drag talking about how I want to see the treasuries stop run higher and they're not doing it. Well, the rate did move there. Notice how they're pushing back into 13.5, but the rate is not going back to 545. Maybe that's a good reason to buy it. I don't know. What do you think? The 30, well, maybe that's because the 30-year did come up. Like they're at 25 now. That's different. I'm really frustrated about Twitter right now. I have 62 likes on a comment, but no follows. What does it take? What does it actually take to get some love on Twitter? Yeah, Jim truckers end up getting paid peanuts. It really is like the thing. The thing that I find so how do I put it? Like the thing that's most disappointing about all of these supply chain issues and stuff is that it seems like the guy that's getting hosed is the worker. Okay, there's another step up to the high. Khulud, good morning. How are you? I mean, I'm not getting like the cray that I wanted, but we did get much further excursion this time, so we could maybe say that it would have been okay for me to have stayed in, but it's still not the scenario I wanted. This is report spam. Thank you, Discord. Hey, that's cool. That's a new thing that I've never seen. Okay, so the tape seemed to react a little bit there. Enjoying the drama and some what drama? It's like it feels so quiet right now. Feels so quiet to me. Did you get along in the ZB? I mean, if we had been buying down here at 18, then that would have been a good trade in ZB, huh? Well, look at that. 14 goes offer. So, by the way, we don't have any other... Okay, we got Bostic speaks at 10. Oh, it's not, that's wrong. At 8. 4X Factory has forgotten my settings. Mountain time. Save. Yes. Okay. Calendar. Better. Tell you what, there's a lot of news tomorrow, right? Retail sales, Empire State Manufacturing Index, consumer sentiment. What about next week? What's next week like? Next week looks pretty quiet. Are you using the bridge? I am. The tools.dll. I'm not familiar with what you're referring to there by tools.dll. But I am using the JT connection. Put a column in the market analyzer. That video from like a week ago or so, where I kind of show you a comparison between the two. Like that was, the CQG side was using the bridge. Direct off of an NTA chart. Yeah, I use the JT connection one off of a market analyzer. You can put it on a chart. Sure. That's the way that it used to be, is you'd put the DOM on every one that you wanted. So you wanted ZN, ZB, ZF, you'd have 3 charts. That's like kind of why on my chart workspace, I still have the 3 of them. Even though I like barely look at it anymore. Is it too much to turn my head all the way over here? I don't know. I mean, they're still teasing it. It could eventually happen, but I don't know, man. I mean, with as many times as 14 half has gone bid, it's funny that there hasn't been more than 32 orders about 115, right? Well, that time they just traded 100, but then they went offer again. They went offer and stacked more than 1,500 on it. I don't know, man. I think if I was still in that trade, there's maybe a good chance that I'd get filled, but I would be awfully frustrated, right? Maybe that's why I'm talking the way that I am, because I'm still like rooting for the trade or something. It's not going. Gus, how are you today? I've been thinking about your idea. He suggested the idea of kind of like a tape for multiple instruments. I'm doing okay. The market's a little frustrating to me right now. I'm just like, I want to see them trade 15 and 15 half, but just trying. Yeah. So, anyways, he said, it would be nice if there was some way to have like a tape that would show you like the multiple instruments, like, so that when there are orders that are coming in that are correlated between the two, that you could see it. And I was thinking, well, maybe what we should do first is we should do a clustering study. So we could come through and we could look at the instrument and we could say, how much do orders cluster? Like, what is the average time between orders? And plot that out and find like the statistical points at which it decreases, and use that to judge how long a cluster should be. How, these orders are X far away from this, then that's a cluster or something like that. And then combine the two instruments and say, okay, say you saw level 2 that correlated between these two within that time frame, then that counts, or something like that, because I would really like to see something that would kind of tell me when we're moving because the market maker decided to just pull their orders for fun, versus that there's some sort of correlation. So that is pure genius. Well, I don't think I'm a genius, but I'd like to think that I'm fairly smart. Still keeps going off her, man. And thank you. Thank you. I was browsing TikTok yesterday, and Jason Statham, is that his name? Yeah, has a TikTok account now. I was like, oh my gosh, because he's like my archetype, right? Bald. But he's just way better looking than me, man. I'm super jealous. I don't think I'm awful looking. I don't have the face symmetry. That's my biggest problem. I've got the buggy, but I'm not terrible looking. But I am not Jason Statham. Oh my gosh. And then you got Ryan Reynolds on TikTok now. Like, how am I supposed to compete on TikTok with these guys? They're going to trade. So a little bit more is traded 15. And you've got a solid bid at 14.5 now. I have a really good friend that if you told him what you just said, he would have what? You have wet dreams about Jason Statham being on TikTok? What is his name? What is his actual name? Yeah, it is. It's Jason Statham. Yes, up 40. It looks like I overslept by about 13 hours. TikTok makes ordinary people look attractive, though. Dude, it totally, I don't know. So here's a big complaint of mine. I know that this is so stupid. I need Ace. I know. I feel like, well, you know what? Like I said, though, like even he hasn't gone anywhere. Try and bookmap for this time. Well, bookmap is a good product. It just doesn't have as good of a DOM. That's all. Oh, remember, he's on vacation. I totally forgot. It's autumn break, and he's on vacation until like next Tuesday. I think that they're going boating. They're probably in St. George or something. Yeah. Trade bigger size profitability and get your followers. Okay, so here's the thing about that. Oh man, there's so many thoughts. I think it's funny. It was really quiet earlier, and now you guys are like bringing up like 2 or 3 different things to talk about. Okay, no, but I'll address that one first. We could probably come in and like trade high risk and put really big numbers on the stream, and hey, sometimes you'll win and sometimes you'll lose, but as long as there's a really big number on the thumbnail, we would get followers on YouTube and followers on TikTok and whatnot. But the amount of risk that you're putting on and everything, I don't think would justify, or sorry, let me rephrase that. The amount of money that you would make from the stream and social media and so forth wouldn't make up for the risk that you're putting on. You get what I mean? Like doing that to get more followers doesn't really make much sense. If he was trading the ES instead of treasuries and being profitable, there'd be that's not true, because we've had many great periods. I remember when I had in trading ES and we had like a 4-month winning streak through the summer. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. You got to understand where the traffic comes from, really. This is the problem. Where does the traffic come from? It comes from the video being recommended on the front page and people clicking it there. That's where it comes from. So, one method we've seen other channels do that seems to work really well is just putting a big number on your thumbnail and people say, "Oh my gosh, he made $1,000 today. What? I need to see that." And then they click on it. There's a limited upside to that, but I personally, I don't feel like it would be moral for me to be trying to lure people in with that sort of a thumbnail. just because, hey, even if I'm doing well, like I said, I had I've had some really good periods in ES. I've had really good periods. I've had really bad periods. That's really just the way that it goes. But even if it was like a really good period all the time, you're luring these people in and you're giving them this impression that, oh yeah, you just make money all the time in futures and it's an easy thing. But when the reality is it's extremely difficult and you're taking on a lot of risk, and it's just really not appropriate for most people, right? Like for here on the live stream, I feel like that the people that this really benefits, which are the people that are serious about trading and serious about becoming traders, not just about catching an easy win and easy money, but they actually enjoy markets and trading and they want to get good at it regardless of what it takes. That's what I feel like is our stream. That's how I think you guys are. I think all of you are like that. When I talk to you, you guys find the stream, and so that's enough on that side. And if we're going to get a lot of people watching on YouTube videos, that what I need to do is I need to get video thumbnails and video topics that appeal to a broad enough range of people and that is clickbaity enough that people on the front page want to click it. That's what we actually got to do. Probably what I need to do is I need to hire a marketing guy. That's what I think I need. I need some guy, preferably that lives in Utah and is likes finance and really knows marketing, like they run Facebook marketing campaigns and that. I need to hire somebody like that. And then he could help us market the indicators that we have, which I think are really good, but I've had a hard time marketing it. Anyways, okay, so you're committed to the truth. Thank you very much. It's not so much that I am committed to it as it is that I just can't help it. If I see something that's wrong, I can't help it. I have to say something. It drives me crazy. Okay, but going back to Jason Statham, okay, which is a more interesting topic. It's not as pertinent to this stream, but I still want to talk about it. Okay, here's the problem that I have with TikTok. Have you seen these filters that they have on TikTok, man? Because it can like see your face and create a 3D model of your face and then draw makeup on top of it so that it looks like you have this amazing makeup on, right? So these girls on TikTok, They look amazing. And it really is like, they'll show you the filter. It's like, they're not putting anything on. There's nothing special about them. But then some people's faces, when you add the filter on top of it, especially you got the right shape, man, you put the filter on top of it, they look amazing. And they're catfishing. It's a catfish filter is what we call them, right? It's a catfish filter. And this is all over TikTok. Okay, but here's the thing. Where are the catfish filters for men? I want to be able to just put a filter on and look amazing. Why do we not get that? They only do it for women. I don't understand. I want to catfish people on TikTok too. It's not fair. So you say I'm committed to the truth, but you know what? If I could catfish everybody with a filter, 100% I would do that. I would 100% catfish people. You know, I'm never going to tell people something incorrect about trading or my own trading performance or anything like that. 100%. I mean, it doesn't. That's the thing with like how you're trading. I have good periods. I have bad periods. If I try and hide the bad periods from you, I'm not helping myself by doing that. Really. I mean, like, yeah, maybe you get a few more YouTube followers from it, but at what cost to yourself and your own trading, you know? Okay, but when it comes to how good looking I am, 100% catfish all the way. Take a snap of that, put it on the Tinders. I totally would have done that. Where are the catfish filters? Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe that's our big business idea, is we write a catfish filter for men. Although I don't know if you make very much money off of making a catfish filter. So note now, 13 going bid. And those big orders are gone. That was awful. Alligator says, in my opinion, current game directional bets is done for a while. Market should focus more on spread bets. They never really got anything to hit into 15. I'm not seeing them really aggressively hit the other side either, per se. At the same time, they came back down there. They're not giving you 5-4-5 again. It's just the rate is sitting there. Well, the S&P 500 has been open for 5 minutes. And it's still fairly slow. Okay, they ticked down there, maybe, and the treasury's ticked up. Maybe we can get some risk off. I don't know if that particular move is enough to really like get me all concerned or anything, but iceberg at 13. Hey, so those orders down there were real? BTS's Butter is now the third longest running Hot 100 hit by Korean musicians. Why is Forbes tweeting about that sort of a thing? It just reminds me that I have all of these things that I want to do now, and I don't have enough time to do them all. Right? I want to learn Korean. I got to make my light board here. Oh, did I show you what came in yesterday, man? Let me show you this. These are... Yeah. Check this out. It's a light board. It's a 32 by 64 LED panel. So hopefully today I'll be able to get it all set up, and maybe tomorrow we can put it in the background. I hope. I'm pretty pumped. I mean, I got the other one to work, but it doesn't do the Wi-Fi, so it kind of was not so fun. What was the Twitter site that combined a lot of the current economic news and geopolitical events? Well, are you talking about Financial Juice? Or are you just talking about TweetDeck? TradingView? Well, TradingView is a charting site. So there's Financial Juice. So here at Financial Juice, they have a bunch of little feeds that you can put in, and you'll see them here. And then they also have the News Squawk, right? So Financial Juice Pro is super great. It's like $70 a month, or you can pay $1,000 one time for a lifetime subscription, I believe. I have an affiliate link in my video description. Highly recommended. I really, looking at it now, I'm like, how did I ever trade without a News Squawk like this? So now, if you don't want to pay for Financial Juice, and I don't blame you, because it is $70 a month, and especially when you're starting out, you can't really spend a whole lot of money on all of these toys. Then you can do TweetDeck, which is tweetdeck.twitter.com. This was an external application that Twitter bought. And you can set up your own feeds. So I created a list of news squawks and prominent people that I want to keep an eye on. And that's this leftmost column. And that's what I'm reading from when I'm reading tweets out to you guys. But the advantage to TweetDeck is that when a tweet comes in, you see it immediately. So if you want to keep track of Twitter and you want to be the first one to know when something gets posted on Twitter, you use TweetDeck. Okay, Gus says, maybe you guys already spoke about this. I think that the news that moved the market yesterday overnight might have been the update on the supply chain talk from yesterday from Biden. It's possible. I mean, the thing is that Biden talking about, hey, we're going to make the LA port open all day and things like that happened pretty early on, and the market had a dip and everything else like that. So I think that one never stood out to me as a big mover, simply because the markets just didn't move when he said it. Yeah, TweetDeck, you got to set up properly because you want to create your own lists and stuff, but it is amazing. Must have. Anyways, I think the issue that I see with that is that, yeah, it's a good thing that they're, having the port run 24/7 now and all of that stuff, but I don't think it really solves the problem. Because the problem is that people are buying 20% more stuff, and there are less truck drivers, and there are all manner of airline delays and so forth. Like, the supply chain is just going to be backed up, and every little bit that you can do will help, but none of it is going to completely solve the problem. The only thing that can probably completely solve the problem is time and continued investment. So, I don't know. Now, I do find it interesting here today that, we got that PPI. I thought that there was some insignificant things in PPI, but the market kind of yawned at it, huh? And the unemployment claims were pretty good. Treasury market kind of yawned at it. I think, though, and this is going to be really important next week. I mean, it's important now, but next week it's really going to be important, is we are in earnings season, right? We're at the beginning of earnings season. So next week, we're going to be pretty quiet on macroeconomic news, which is what we tend to rely upon. And we're going to have to rely much more on stock market sentiment created by earnings, which, I don't know, we did okay last time around, didn't we? We did okay last earnings season, but I do find that action a little bit harder to trade. Where is Pete Buttigieg? Well, I believe that he is the head of the urban housing development, and he's just doing his job. I tell you what, that one was an appointment that was like, you're a threat, and we want to give you a job where you won't attract any attention. That's what that one was. For real. I have my CDLA got an official looking letter from the state of Pennsylvania that had a you're hereby ordered to make yourself available to drive both for schools and for what, really? For real? They can do that? I don't think they can. Can they do that? Are you being conscripted into being a truck driver? Is that how we're going to solve the supply chain issues, is conscription? Okay. Back up to one spot 545. We never would have gotten our target. Oh, actually, there was 30 orders that went into it. Maybe we would have gotten it. Oh, it was like a scam. Oh, you got me all. I fell for this. I fell for it. You got me, Greg. I can see how they do that. They go through and everybody that's put down on the list. I don't know. When people talk about the, like scams, it really is kind of weird because like, I usually fall for the clickbait. Like the first time that the Donald Trump emails sent out that were like, you're late payment or whatever, it was like, well, you haven't donated this quarter yet. And so they try and make it sound like you're late for a payment or something and you got to do it immediately. So I clicked the email. Sure. I clicked the email, but then as soon as you open it up, it's like, obviously it's they're being dishonest. And then that's the part where I don't understand, where people actually read the thing and you're getting down into, okay, I need to read the details about this thing so that I can make a decision. And they read that and they go, oh, the decision that I need to do is to give this scammer money. Who does that? But I don't know. If 1 in 100 people do it, then I guess it's worth it to them, huh? So the treasuries tick down to the lows pretty easily, and they pull in ticks here and everything. So I'm still not sure that we're getting a meta order per se. I do think there's a pretty good possibility that somebody was absorbing contracts short up at the highs. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get a plunge down. The S&P 500 is still very constrained, isn't it? Oh, look at that. A little bit of fighting around there. Also, the S&P 500 is like right where the options have them stuck. It may well be the case that tomorrow we're just going to close at 4,400, right? Options kind of suggest that we're just going to stay here in this area. Now, on the split side, if we still thought that Treasury should move up, we'd get a better entry now, right? Oh, we should go back to the Twitter notifications here. Oh my. Should just leave this up over here. How is it you get 82 likes on account? Nobody follows. Why? The trucking industry needs to chill out about marijuana since 2011. Executives have listed the supposed shortage of truck drivers as a top 10 concern in an annual industry survey. So they're saying that truck drivers want to smoke marijuana, and if we let them we don't drug test them, we'll have more truck drivers. Okay. That was somebody replying to my Twitter. Okay, maybe that's a thing. Maybe. I don't know. So they're taking 12 pretty easily, but then like that one's not really acting all that aggressive. Hey, good morning, Lucas. How are you? I notice that sometimes you come in when things are kind of slow and confusing, and I'm worried that you're coming in here because that whole move there in the treasuries was incredibly frustrating. Yeah. Can you believe, with as many times as 14.5 went bid, that only 278 orders hit into 15? What happened there when ES went higher? It fell like 7 points out of nowhere. I didn't really catch that. Well, I can see the pullback, but and we definitely saw some periods where a lot of orders were doing stuff, but I didn't see anything that triggered my like something happened, there was news kind of things. Oh, is Pete the Secretary of Transportation? I thought he was housing. Okay, I'm wrong. Tells NPR that the Biden administration is focused on resolving supply chain issues in the time of holiday shopping season. Is there any that? Well, there is a speaker at the top of the hour. But you know what? I think that so we were just talking about this actually. Earnings season is now. So there's a lot of really big economic numbers tomorrow. But then like next week, earnings is going to be the dominant factor, which can kind of be a little difficult for us, at least for me, because I think we rely much more on macroeconomic forces, right? But another thing here is this 4,400 in ES is there is a lot of options interest at that level. So it may just well be the case that they just sit there. You know, maybe the news tomorrow creates us a little bit of a move and then we settle back into it. Well, let me come back here. I do see the spot where you said that it dropped really quickly. But I don't see like an order imbalance or anything like that. That's kind of weird. I don't know. The amount that it moved didn't the volume that came through on it and everything doesn't look like anything unusual. So well, I find it a little curious that we're coming back down to 12.5. Well, basically coming back to the open prices, and the micro treasury yields are still at 1.545. That kind of suggests that our original trade, we could still be in it. But that would probably be like a mistake at that point, because I think the thing that we were looking to have happen definitely did not happen. Yeah, I think I see it on this chart here, Lucas. If you come back over to this one and you expand out my 5-second one, there was this thing right here where within within the course of 10 seconds, they moved from 44.02 down to 43.94. So they moved about 5 or 6 points within 10 seconds. You can see that the imbalance in the orders wasn't like too dramatic. Oh, it was right here. It kind of does look to me like maybe they just got ahead of themselves a little bit, but I don't see any obvious reason or explanation for it. It's might as well just be noise, I guess. And we didn't see any news. So yeah. I don't know. I took my one trade and basically, well, I wouldn't say I scratched it. I lost $3 on it. The way this is trading, even now, a good 30 minutes has been going on the S&P 500. I'm not too impressed with what's going on in the treasuries right now, for sure. And even the E-mini looks pretty lackluster to me. So maybe we don't put any more risk on today. I don't know. We do get a Fed speaker in a little bit, so that might. Well, I don't know. A Fed speaker could say something that moves the markets, right? But it also might just make trading a little bit more quiet. They moved because they pulled instead of size, you mean? Yeah, I do not see a huge. I mean, I don't have a cumulative delta chart up that's that fine-grained enough to really see. Well, I could look at this one down here. Nah, I don't really see like a huge change. Oh my gosh. Dude. I hit long on NQ and the DOM was not quick enough to place the auto stop, and that was negative 150 instantly? What? So then you immediately did stop out. It was just you caught like crazy slippage on it. Yeah. Well, this is why I don't trade NQ. That's what that is. I haven't noticed any difference with Jigsaw. Nope. If there's like a lot of market data coming through, you might see kind of some weird stuff where the GUI doesn't update as quickly as I think it should, but first it cancels your limit orders and then it exits your position. The fact that treasurers are holding yesterday's top range with this indices bid is concerning. I don't know what they changed. Do you think that this is a change that was just like within the last? So, by the way, Lucas, have you been to their Discord yet? Because I think that I would go to the Discord and ask people there. Because I haven't noticed anything. I mean, if my CPU is throttling, because at this point my computer is getting pretty old, right? Like that, I think this computer is like 5 years. I think I bought this computer before I started streaming, so it's like 5 or 6 years old now. Okay, place a sim order, and then hit flat and see how much delay there is. Okay. We'll do it in the micro, yes. Please tell me that those were micro and Q contracts, by the way. Okay, 3. Let's just go short, and then I'll say flat. Now, I mean, I wouldn't say that it was instant, but that's kind of weird. Well, so now that's another question, Lucas. Was it a sim order? Because I've definitely seen Jigsaw do weird things with sim orders, where it's like when things get fast, it doesn't seem to interpret things correctly. You're due. I am. But I've debated with myself a little bit on this, and I decided not to do anything because I have saved some money up, so I could go and build a super machine right now. But I was like, well, first of all, would I get like a ton of views and stuff on a video making like that? Maybe above average at least. But like with PC prices as they are and everything else right now, I'm not sure that I really get my bang for my buck, you know? Now maybe that will change because I'm really want to get more into machine learning, and I'm working on I've basically come to the conclusion after long study that I basically have to export data out of NinjaTrader 8, that I need to create a pipeline that will take everything that's going on in NinjaTrader 8 and spit it out into to Python, and so that I can use something like TensorFlow. So like use RPC calls and spit it out. And I've seen people discuss doing it, but then it kind of looks like they never did it. And it's kind of hard because NinjaTrader 8 is still on .NET Framework 4.5. So like any new utility would do for that sort of thing doesn't work. Yeah, I think I want to do that. And if I got to that point and I had a good machine learning system set up, then maybe I might be able to justify building a machine with a really heavy backtesting. You know, I really could have used the backtesting the end of last year when I was developing all of these algorithms like J, and I was backtesting a lot. But lately I don't backtest as much. I'm more focused on doing research about other things, so wouldn't use it at the moment. So I'm kind of taking the approach of I'm not going to do anything until I absolutely have to. See if the move was just a spread or if a data feed lagged. Yeah, I mean, it could be your 5800X is not the issue. No, but I'm not saying that. It's going to be your CPU that's going to be the limit there in that instance. So something that can happen, guys, is here in Jigsaw. Man, I clicked the settings button and everything. Okay, so here there's like the update interval. So I have my update interval set to be 100 milliseconds on some of these. Okay, my treasury is a little chunky, right? You can set that to 1. You can have it update like literally every millisecond. Like Jigsaw will use as much CPU as you want to give it if you tell it to. So what I've seen, I think what some people will do is they'll set their update prints really, really low, and it's fine normally, but then when you get into a move like that, move down where a ton of updates happen all at once, and Jigsaw is trying to do that calculation every millisecond, most even really nice PCs can't handle it. It's just a lot of data to be doing it 1,000 times a second, right? Every GPU I bought this year paid for itself. Good grief, Tony. You're part of the problem. I've been tempted to go out and get a 3060 because there's this whole thing with if I had the built-in encoder could maybe make the stream look a little bit nicer, but like again, is it worth that much? No, it's not. It's not. So I just sit here and do nothing. Well, the treasuries didn't really push down, but you know what? This is a really constrained day in treasuries, right? We're like talking about an 8-tick range for the full session. I've only seen 2 or 3 days like that. And usually they would be like days where there was like literally no news, summer, etc. These treasuries are really unusually tight. The stream looks really good anyways, thanks. I think I am using the video card encoder right now. It's just not quite as good. It went offer by the time it canceled your limit orders and closed your position? I don't think I would expect it to be faster than what it was. It closed it at the same price that it was at. It said that it was a 0. I mean, you got to realize you're talking about something where like a few milliseconds, something faster than your reaction time can make a difference. And because of the way that C# works, and this is a problem you can get in NinjaTrader, probably worse in NinjaTrader than Jigsaw, to be honest with you. You definitely have situations where the order is executed and it's already done its thing, but you don't actually see the DOM update as quickly, depending on what's going on. First, it cancels your limit orders, and a quarter of a second later, it closes your position. Maybe. I think that if you were in really fast market action, that's what you would want, yeah? Because otherwise, you could think that you're getting out, and you actually just get entered into a different position, right? Well, there's no way for me to know that it was a quarter of a second, right? In order for me to see that, I would have to have a log over here it won't show me on a sim trade either, will it? I would need to go over here and have the logs in NinjaTrader, and I would need to see the exact moments that the orders were done, right? But I could see when the one orders were canceled and when the position was taken out, and I could see the delay between the two of them. But getting taken out 150, that is insane slippage. I've had similar happen to me before, but that is insane slippage. And you should realize that even if your platform is perfect, that situations like that can just happen. Like you get in the position immediately and then they sell down on you and there's like actual real true slippage on it. Even if your stop order was an exchange side stop and it was put in before the move and everything, you could still get slippage, right? Well, but it was slippage because you didn't stop out of where your stop was, right? I believe that I don't remember anymore. You were here, I think, when that happened. I caught 5-tick slippage before. Sorry, 5-point slippage before. It was brutal. Happened. That was when, remember, I was like, No, that was trade war times, I think. I don't know. NQ, I really don't see myself ever trading NQ unless it was an algorithm with like, co-location and all that junk. Yeah, if the market moves past your stop loss before that stop order is created, then no, I don't think that's correct. If the market moves past your stop loss before that stop loss order is created, it should just stop out. And although it is true, if I come in here, MES, and I say stop order, and I try and put a stop order right on the bid here, it'll say order rejected. Oh, okay. So another question. Was it a volume stop? I would not use the volume stop feature in NQ. No volume stop? Wonder what it will say if I just delete the SV there on that. It does. Did you see that? I did a regular stop and it just put me into the position. So let me rephrase my question. You're in a trade, you go long, it drops on you 5 points. Okay. At that point, did it immediately take you out of the position, or did you have to exit out manually? Because if you had to exit out manually, then we did something wrong. Okay, he says, now let me explain again. Let's say you go long, the market fills your order. The moment you're filled, an automatic stop loss should be created if you set it up right. A stop loss should be created, yes. Sure. I understood that part. Microsoft abandons LinkedIn China. Interesting. Looks like yields fell again a little bit. Maybe they push up at 15 again. Okay, would you say there's the delay between you getting filled and the stop loss being created, but then what happened? So your stop loss got created and you got an error, and then you were still in the position and you had to manually exit. That's what it sounds like you're saying. Stop loss is set at negative 10 ticks. The market fills your order, and before your stop loss is created, the market is already at negative 15. Correct. And then So you are not stopped out. Okay, wrong. You use the volume stop. So look at my screen again, Lucas. We are above. We moved quite a bit higher. Okay. I have over here on MES, I'm going to use my experimental account, and I am going to tell it to put a stop order, and I'm going to say 4408 buy. It immediately enters into the position. Because we're above that price, it immediately markets into it. So if you if you got in a situation you bought, it moves down well beyond what your stop is, you will stop out. You'll just catch the slippage. Now, if you got an error message, then that means that you probably tried to use a volume stop. And if that's the case and you really, really still want to use a volume stop, which I don't see why you would want to on NQ, but if you still really want to use a volume stop, you should have a protective stop behind it. But the regular stop order does not throw an error when you put it at the wrong spot. If you do the volume, if I change this, if I put something in this SV column, even if I wonder if it does it if you put 0 in there. No, not if you put 0. But if I put like 10, then it gives me the error. No, well, it doesn't matter if the market moved before that stop loss was even created. Once the stop loss is created, then it will hit into the market and you'll get the market price at whatever it was, which in that particular case could be like negative 100. Yeah. That's why I was saying you did get taken out of the position automatically, right? I'm more concerned about you got in the position, you should have been stopped out, and it's still sitting there, and you're going, what? And 5 seconds go by before you realize I need to click the flat button, and then it takes you out. Right? That would be super bad. Hey, look, there's one spot, 535. We could have gotten 10 ticks today. Gosh dang it. Place a stop loss above market on the bid column. Sure. Why? Or do you mean place a stop loss below the market on the bid column? Then it will enter me in. Kind of funny, I made money from doing all that. on sim, of course. ES is in creeper up mode. They're getting a pretty good uptrend, wouldn't you say? Kind of have to wonder, though, the treasury moving back up there to the highs and the yields pushing down a little bit more that time. What's going on there? Okay, so he says, let's try it again. Open a position, let the market go against you in place. Okay, so let's go short. Let's cancel all of these orders here. And then try and place a stop loss above the market there. Or you mean let it go against me a little bit and try and put a stop like right here? Takes me out. Just immediately converts into a market order and gives me whatever the market price was. No error. So in your error window, because you said you got an error, what was the specific error message that you got? Do you still have it? Oh, I would think that you should still be able to see it. You got in at 407 and got out sold for break even? Well, I don't know. Do we really have any reason to think that it's going to keep going up? I suppose here in the treasuries, we might have been able to make a call just on assuming that it's going to continue to oscillate here between these two prices, but that's not a trade that I'm comfortable taking. Just as I'm not comfortable trying to bet that the ES will just continue to float up. So I don't know why it's doing it. Oh, you bought 44.10 and made some, hey, not bad. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to buy the micro treasury here. They're still not hitting 15. Well, there's 556 into it now. It seems like they want it to go higher. You're about to go short Ethereum? I mean, I can't oppose that trade because I'm not a huge cryptocurrency fan right now, but good luck. That thing will rip your face off. And Ethereum has been moving pretty good today, too. Yeah, you know, when you are buying like a high and it pushes through and it goes higher, that always feels good, right? It's like you realize the momentum was there before other people did and you made money from it. By the way, can you hear me guys okay? It's like not hard to understand what I'm saying sometimes when I go all dry and all blah blah blah, right? I still haven't gotten an answer from Lucas about the error message that he got. Dude, I've gotten that kind of slippage before though. Yes. On me, you need the right hashtags for Twitter follows? Is that what it is, Imanu? Teach me your ways. No, I tell you what. You guys, you find me a marketing guy. We'll find a marketing manager for this stream, and we'll pay him a percentage of all profits made, I guess. I hear you, fine. Well, oh, yeah. So what we were talking about live action was that Lucas caught some slippage on a trade. And he thinks that that the order in which Jigsaw places and cancels orders may have had something to do with it. But it sounds to me, from what he said so far, that he may have had a stop volume order instead of a regular stop order. But that's so I was asking, because he also said he got an error message. So we're waiting to see him tell us what error message he got. But your mic is amazing. It's really not. Tell you what, if you start a stream, don't buy this mic. It is so not for streaming. It looks cool. That's why I got it. But if I could go back, I would have gotten something different. I would have gotten like an SM7B or a Wave mic. Okay, but what does the error message say, Lucas? Because you said you got. I'm going through my recordings to check the error. Okay, because did you close the platform down? You don't have it anymore. The trade window is being set to auto will not matter. What will matter is if you have a number in the stop volume field. If you have a number in the stop volume field, clear it out. I rage quit. Dude, I totally feel you, man. I wish that YouTube gave me better tools to be able to search through my past streams, because we could definitely, the one that it happened to me, it was very different. There was no volume traded through there. So there was literally nothing I could have done. I just caught 5 ticks of slippage, and that's all there was to it. And it was also one of those ones where it was like I just had barely gotten in and they dashed me. It was like insane. Ugh. I wish I remembered more details, but those equity indexes, every once in a while they'll do mean things. It's not often, but you can't really get that in the treasury, right? In the treasury, you lose 2 ticks slippage, then that's like insane. Wow, a single Bitcoin purchased for $50,000 has a carbon footprint of 270 tons, the equivalent of 60 ICE cars, says Bank of America. Whoa, okay. Live Action says no, it's a great mic. It does have a certain tone to it that I like. I also put some processing on it. I probably process it too much, to be honest. You want to hear unprocessed? You can mess around with the filters again. Turn off. That's with everything off, and this is what it sounds like by default. But I add a little bit of EQ to it, so that well, I can't remember what I'm doing there with the EQ, but I'm too lazy to go and look. And then I compress it. That's what really makes it sound consistent and sounds good. And then I use this to get rid of any background noise. But the reason it's not a very good mic has a lot more to do with the form factor. That doesn't compare Bitcoin to the system of payments and transfers now. Well, that's irrelevant, Kavan, because it doesn't matter what the system. Shouldn't the goal be to use less carbon than the current financial system? And like the thing that's crazy about it is that we have the ability to build a, what is the word, like a decentralized transaction system that doesn't use carbon and it has a much smaller footprint, and we don't. And why? Well, I mean, there's cryptocurrencies that do it and we don't. And why don't we? Because people make money from bitcoins. Here's the exact error message. I was long at 9:47. Sell, stop, or sell, stop limit orders can't be placed above the market. Affected order, sell 1, stop market at 14,945.5. Okay, next question for you. What version of Jigsaw are you using? You're using 3200. Okay, I would contact Jigsaw support. Because that shouldn't have happened, right? It should have hit you out. But you didn't answer my question from earlier then. So, this is a NinjaTrader error message. Oh, that could make a difference, couldn't it? I mean, if it's a NinjaTrader error message, then that says that it was a live order, right? So it could be that Jigsaw just submitted the stop order like it thought it should, and NinjaTrader said, nope, you can't do that. You should submit this to Jigsaw, to their support. Because that's a problem. That should just convert into a market order. But how did you get out? Did you have to flatten out? People are using the byproduct to heat greenhouses. Okay, so here's the story. My dad, he's been getting into the cryptocurrency mining. He mines some stuff with his Ethereum. He's bought some video cards and made some money off of it. So I told him about ASIC miners. So he decides to get the ASIC miner, right? And it's like, yeah, it's fine. We'll put it in the basement. It will heat the basement up. It'll be great, right? Okay, but here's what he didn't factor in. It is so effing loud. That fan was so loud. Like, you told me, yeah, it's pretty loud, and I just expected to be like, like a regular PC with a relatively loud fan. No. The fan that came on this thing, it was ridiculous. It was in the basement. And down there in the basement, they have like one of those flue pipes for like radon, So he plugged the fan into the pipe for the radon to push the exhaust out into the garage so that it didn't heat things up or whatever. And you would go into the garage and you could hear the ASIC miner. It was so loud. And then I don't know what happened, but like their power bill went up that month. And I guess they decided that the amount that they made from the miner did not justify the how much it hurt the power bill. Like they didn't make enough to pay what they used on the power bill. But I think that it was also that the ASIC miner that he bought wasn't very efficient anymore. But yeah, I think like an ASIC miner that heats your house, yeah, but it's probably really loud. So I don't know how you could make those things quieter. Listen, I had this with Zero. This is why I'm blocked by Zero Hedge, because they said, oh, people are being dishonest when they talk about the amount of energy that Bitcoin uses, because the regular financial system uses so much carbon energy, and it's like, no, like that's not the point. The point is there are other cryptocurrencies that are better that don't do that, right? And and even though they try to say that it leads to more green energy use, that's all energy that's being used for Bitcoin mining that could be used for something else. What is going to happen this winter when, in Europe and the United States, they're having trouble supplying power to everybody, and there's all these people mining Bitcoins? I mean, come on. And we're in an energy crisis. And it's money that quite frankly doesn't have to be done that way. Like, that's the problem, is that it could be done other ways, but other cryptos don't represent the blockchain. Well, yeah, but I mean, that's the whole point, right? The reason that we're using so much excessive energy is because people think that Bitcoin is worth something, and so they're willing to buy it, and so it justifies the investment in massive amounts of computing power that is essentially wasted. It is a huge, ridiculous waste of energy that doesn't have to happen. It's straight up, it doesn't. Probably what will happen in the end is that the United States will set up FedCoin, right? And I hope that they do it right. We'll see what kind of a system they come up with, but I hope that they create something that is still protects your privacy, and at least I mean, I think that the government wants to be able to see everything, but I don't think that I should be able to go and look at your wallets and see everything that you've bought. You know what I mean? But then it'll probably be centralized to some extent. Like, maybe you could still mine and contribute to the network, but there still is a central authority, right? Like Ripple, okay, right? So then at that point, you'll have this currency out here that provides all of the utility that Bitcoin does, but none of the energy usage, and is supported by the state. Why should I use Bitcoin at that point? Well, the only reason I think that I would want to use Bitcoin is because I want a currency that's not controlled by the government, right? But how many people out there that are buying Bitcoin, that's really the reason they're buying it, or rather than they think they're going to make money? You know what I mean? Yeah, FedCoin goes to banks. Sure, it does. Anyways, it's just not, it's not sustainable. I'm telling you, this situation with Bitcoin, like maybe they could get away with it for a year, but I don't know if these supply chain issues are going to be resolved. Okay, like, here we go through the winter, we have an energy crisis. We go through the whole year, supply constraints aren't cleared, and then we have another energy crisis again. You really think that local governments and stuff are still going to say, like, okay, but you can mine Bitcoin if you want? Like, come on. And when it's really unnecessary? No, it's not. The energy usage for it is going to become a problem at some point. When before I said buy at market and try placing a stop loss before the market, you didn't do this. You used a stop buy order, not a stop loss. What would be the difference? No, I did one where I was in a position and I set a stop order, though. The energy usage is already an issue. Yeah, I mean, and that's why they got kicked out of China, right? Yeah, I think it's a problem. Here's the thing, though. The bigger problem that they've got is that there's like no like real business case for using it right now. Like there used to be, but then they basically said, "Oh, we're going to be digital gold." So they basically destroyed like the business, like the person that has to own a certain amount of Bitcoin just for their business to keep running. That doesn't exist anymore. They basically got rid of that. So if Bitcoin stops going up, then like it kills the reason to own it. You know, if Bitcoin goes into a bear market, there's no reason. So you're going to see another 90% decline at some point. If you buy a stop loss is set at sell, try again and see what. No, I don't understand what you're saying. What I did was I went in and I bought. I canceled all of the automatic orders that it placed, and then I put a stop buy below the current market price. Oh, I was short. I put a stop buy below the current market price, and it got me out. So conversely, if I bought in here and then it moved against me and I put a sell order, a sell stop above the current market price, it would immediately take me out. How is a stop buy getting you out of a... No, it was this. No, I was short. When I did that, I was short. Let me walk through it again. I went short. No. Well, there we tried a couple of different scenarios, but the one that I tried, there's one right here, was a sell. This last one that we did, right? It was a sell. Okay. So will it make more because it sound you were long. It is recorded. Okay, I buy. Actually, sorry. Let me hold on. I want to do that differently. Let me flatten that because I don't want the auto orders to be placed in it. I don't want to do it 3. Okay, if I buy, okay, and it goes against me, and I put a let's let it come down a little bit more so that it's more clear. Hopefully, it goes down. If somebody could go and sell like 1,000 E-mini contracts right now, I would appreciate. We might be waiting here a little while. The market is still really quiet, huh? Any stop loss above the market will get rejected. Well, I mean, obviously, if I put a stop sell up here, right, it's just going to... Oh, actually, that got me out. John Black, not every order that I take is a live order, but I do trade live orders. I took one live order today, and it was actually the correct thing to do, and I could have made $10 off of it, but I was not too impressed with it and basically scratched it. I lost $3 on it. So meh. And then I was like, well, this just doesn't look like a fertile market. Okay, that took me out. That wasn't what you wanted to see, was it? You've been trading for 6 years from home, and it sure does get... Oh, yeah, it does. I can imagine these people that they do it all by themselves. Anyways, I keep but yeah, but are you using sim orders when you try doing this? Oh, that's really weird if you're using sim orders and it's doing that. I wonder, is there like some sort of a setting somewhere that changes this behavior? Trading. No. Options. Now he's using sim orders and it's doing it. So you're saying if I try to stop sell at a price above the market, well, let's do buys. If I try to stop buy at a price below the market with a stop order, I click, it immediately puts me into the position. You click, it just throws an error. Yep. So at the moment I'm long. So if I did a stop sell like way above the market here, takes me out. Which is correct. It says that price has already been cleared, so it immediately converts into a market order. So if yours is giving you an error message, I can't explain that. Yeah, we're both using Ninja. We're both using CQG Continuum, right? And you're using the bridge. Yes. I cannot explain it. You should definitely contact support. You should go and open up a support request in the members section. Is there anything else in those settings that could possibly affect things? Do you have any of these OCO, S2P, L2P buttons checked? NinjaTrader 8 version? Could that matter? Well, my NinjaTrader 8 version is 8.0.22.2. 64-bit version. Says no to any of these things being checked. Yep, the same NinjaTrader 8 version. I can't explain it. That's so weird. Open a support request. Maybe there's an option in NinjaTrader here. Hold on. Tools, options. No. Wait, what's this setting here in? Can't see anything in a log file. Well, I think that he's saying that the error message that he gets is in NinjaTrader. Oh, that's just for the email. What are you saying, Canvan? Since you're using volume to a large extent, you should be looking further out on the calendar to differentiate larger volume hedging, buying or selling, less volume, very obvious when it comes in. Are you suggesting that I should be trying to use metrics about seasonality to judge the amount of volume that is coming in on a particular day to see if it's more or less? Is that kind of what you're getting at? And all I can say is today is that the E-mini just doesn't seem to be trading very well, does it? Or the Treasury doesn't seem to be trading very well. He says no. I totally did not get it. To be honest, the way that you phrased that was confusing to me. Sorry. It could be a setting within. I do see some settings in NinjaTrader. They kind of seem like they could maybe have something to do with that, but I can't explain it. So another thing is that if the error message is showing up in NinjaTrader, then you could maybe ask NinjaTrader support. Wow. They're giving TradingView a $3 billion valuation. Okay, check Discord. Let's see. Oh, okay. He has found the point at which it happened. Okay, whoa. Okay. I stop. Okay. Okay, so I have a theory, Lucas. Take off the strategy that you're running. You have that NQ, STG, TG. Remove that. And then try it. Makes sense. You have this right here. You're using, maybe I use scale out. Change it to nothing. And then try doing that. Stop. Click it below the market. Should probably do this today. Same thing. Even without a strategy in it. Oh, no. This is your problem. I think I can make it happen. Oh, hold on. Move it over here. Sim. Okay. By stop below. Doo-doo-doo. Okay. Yep. See, if you're using a Jigsaw sim account, it doesn't do this. So it is a problem with the integration between Jigsaw and NinjaTrader 8. How would they fix that though? If NinjaTrader doesn't automatically convert a stop order from below the market, a stop buy below the market into a market order, then that's a problem. You should tell Jigsaw too, because it's a bug. I would consider it a bug. Well, I mean, it's not technically a bug, but like they need to add a feature there, basically. So that see, when I said use a sim order, you know, I meant use a Jigsaw sim order. Yes, you're right. Now with a Jig account, yes. See, we just wasted 30. That's so funny because my original, what is the word? My original instinct was right. There was a tiny little detail that I needed to clarify there, that it was that you need to use a Jigsaw sim account because it's the integration between Jigsaw and NinjaTrader that's a problem. But you know what? This is just my whole thing that's like, I would rather not use the bridge. I don't have anything against NinjaTrader 8. It's just execution in Jigsaw is better, and I would rather just only use Jigsaw for the execution part of it, right? Actually, to be quite frank with you, if I was able to do everything that I really wanted to do in Jigsaw, programmatically wise, like I don't even necessarily have to program my own indicators, but like on their charts rather, but just being able to export the data and run an algorithm, you know, then I would be fine not using NinjaTrader so that I don't have to use the bridge, you know? It's frustrating to me. Or NinjaTrader just allow us to use Rhythmic. Let us use Rhythmic. Or so, you know, there's so many ways to every single person in this ecosystem that is involved in this could make a change that would fix this, right? But another one could be CQG makes a feature like the Rhythmic Trader Pro plugin mode. That would also fix it. Well, it's time for me to go. I'm glad that we fixed that. Well, not that we fixed that, but that we figured out what was going on. Hey guys, I should get going. So I will see you tomorrow. In the meantime, hey, you know, I have a video about like data feeds And in there, I ask what data feed you use. Tell me about that, Ray. Like you in particular, Ray, you're like one of the few people that are actually using DTNIQ, which is a really nice feed. And if you've been using it for a long time, I would love to know what your thoughts are. So go and find that video and respond to that comment and tell me more. Denali. Well, but Lucas, if it's going through the what's happening is Jigsaw is saying, "Oh, you submitted a stop order that is below the current market price. I'm going to automatically convert that to a market order," and it probably does that when it tries to process the stop. So I would think. Although you wouldn't be able to do this because you have to pay an extra fee to be able to connect Jigsaw directly. But theoretically, if you had Jigsaw connected directly to your data feed and you put in a stop order like that, it would convert it to a market order automatically, supposedly. Like that's the thing is that Jigsaw does all of the, that's the thing that to me, that's really the killer feature of Jigsaw. Is, if I click, when I have this set to auto, if I click down here, it puts a limit order. If I click up here, it puts a stop order. If I click right here, it becomes a market order. And it knows based on where the current price is compared to where you clicked, what kind of an order you want. And I haven't seen any other platform do that. And that is like the one, there's no way that I would ever go and execute on any other platform without that one feature. Okay, I should go. Stay profitable, friends.